You're a 168 fighter, and I know it sounds crazy, but if he were to like turn around and be like, "Hey, yeah, I'll fight David,"
I'll be dope. I have a lot of respect for Terence Crawford, and just because I want to fight, if we would fight, doesn't mean we have hard feelings for each other. He's definitely a great fighter. I'd love to fight him.
I need to get. I would love to get it. I just don't think he would come up. Well, I mean, I'm not even at 168 no more.
Right.
But I mean, I would love to fight Crawford, or even spar. I would love to spar Crawford.
When you see a tweet that says, "Hey, can you make 168, David, from Turkey?" Can he still make 168? You seeing him now training at second fight at 175?
Yeah, I think he's super young still. I think definitely, I don't think, it would be a little bit hard, but I think he could definitely do 168. We didn't move to 175 because of the weight. We moved because of the opportunity.
A long-awaited matchup could be coming soon, as Terence Crawford may face David Benavidez. Adding to the excitement, David's father says he is willing to return to 168-pound division.
I think referring to maybe if David could go and fight Crawford, like, that's crazy.
To be honest, that would be even an embarrassment to me to say, David's too big for Crawford. Now we said that, I don't think, it would be a little bit hard, but I think he could definitely do 168. We didn't move to 175 because of the weight. We moved because of the...
It won't be easy for David, but it's still doable. His jump to 175 had less to do with struggling on the scale and more to do with chasing bigger chances. And as everyone knows in boxing, once Turki Alashik gets involved and the Saudi funding shows up, fighters suddenly discover they can hit whatever weight is required.
Can you still make 168?
To be honest with you, man, let Terence Crawford live. That's his weight class. I lost interest in 168 a long time ago. I know that we could get offered a lot of money to go down to 168, but I'm more comfortable at 175.
On top of that, Turki himself went public on social media saying David is still capable of making 168. With that in mind, it wouldn't be shocking if a Crawford versus Benavidez fight starts taking shape for next year, because once Turki steps into the picture, all bets are off. And stylistically, it's a fascinating contrast. Crawford bringing elite ring intelligence and footwork against Benavidez's raw, destructive power, making it a matchup that blends high-level strategy with pure brutality.
At 168, when we think about anybody at 168 outside of Canelo, the first name that comes to anybody's mind is David Benavidez. What about the potential for a fight like that?
Oh, like I said, man, that's a big dude. You know what I mean? He ain't even at 168. When you look
right now, it's at 175, yeah.
He probably can't even make 168 no.
The implications would be enormous. One fighter is chasing all-time greatness. The other is looking to make a defining statement, and the attention and pay-per-view interest would be undeniable. If this matchup gets finalized, expect intense preparation, calculated weight planning, and an event that becomes must-watch for the entire sport. Stay ready. This talk could turn into something real sooner than expected.
Alashik posted on social media asking if David Benavidez is still capable of making it down to 168. Now, we're not sure if this little tease that Turki made was targeted as a hint for a future fight between Crawford and Benavidez, or Canelo versus Benavidez.
Right when the excitement was building and it felt like Crawford versus Benavidez could actually be next, Blue Blood Sports TV stepped in and delivered a serious dose of reality aimed at David Benavidez. And he didn't sugarcoat it at all. His point was simple. You can't label Crawford an opportunist when you were once pushing hard for that same Canelo matchup. And honestly, that argument lands. You don't get to reshape the past just because the moment barely slipped past you.
What Terence Crawford achieved is massive compared to yourself that people say technically should have been at 175. So you cannot discredit Terence Crawford and say he's an opportunist, because this is the same version of Canelo Alvarez that you wanted to fight. And you would have wanted to get all the credit in the world for beating this Canelo, and you wouldn't have wanted to hear people talk about you as an opportunist and you fought a version of Canelo Alvarez that was washed up.
Benavidez spent years loudly calling out Canelo, following him across weight classes like he was tracking a rare catch. Now that Bud actually secured the fight, the narrative flips to, well, that Canelo was past his prime. That doesn't really hold up. It's like watching someone else enjoy dessert and then claiming you never wanted it in the first place. And to be fair, Benavidez absolutely deserved that opportunity much earlier. WBC maneuvering clearly worked against him. No argument there. But trying to downplay Crawford's accomplishment now? That comes off more like frustration than a fair take.
Don't discredit Terence Crawford's victory. That's nasty work, bro. And you one of my guys, you know that. And shouts out to your father and your brother. Don't let these people put batteries in your back for you to discredit Terence Crawford's victory. Don't let it happen, bro. We know a disservice was done to you. We know you should have been got the Canelo Alvarez fight. We already know that. But don't say this was a washed-up version of Canelo Alvarez, because you would have accepted this same fight and wanted all the...
The reality is this. Bud stepped into territory no one else was willing to touch. He jumped up 21 pounds and took on a fighter most of the division wanted no part of. And if David truly goes back down to 168 to face Crawford, that deserves respect. It's a bold move. But until that fight actually happens, let's not pretend Crawford didn't just do something that defied the usual rules of boxing. Love him or criticize him, Bud etched his name into history. And if there was anything opportunistic about it, it was choosing the exact moment that made everyone else look ordinary.
So you would have fought the same version of Canelo Alvarez and expected all the credit in the world. So you can't discredit Terence Crawford and say his fight and beating him was opportunity.
Just when it felt like the Crawford versus Benavidez storyline was really picking up steam, here comes another curveball. Word is coming out of Team Crawford that Bud is looking for a $100 million payday for his next appearance. Yeah, $100 million. That's not just a fight purse, that's lottery level money. And look, Bud gets respect across the board, but at that number, the opponent might as well be a superhero. Because unless Turki Alashik suddenly decides to run the money printers non-stop in Riyadh, it's hard to see who's cutting a check like that.
Start off with what Bernie of Team Crawford said, right? He says, quote, "I think Terence Crawford is done. If it ain't $100 million to go down and fight those guys like Janabek, Erislandy Lara, and Carlos Adames, let them guys do all the hard work." $100 million? What you think you got? Kelsey Grammer? Chelsea Clinton?
But let's call it what it is. This feels like Bud saying he's already climbed every mountain in the sport and now wants to be compensated like an all-time great. And that's understandable. Crawford just dismantled Canelo and had him looking a step behind the entire night. So yeah, confidence is at an all-time high. Still, when talk shifts to facing names like Janabek or Carlos Adams for a 9-figure payday, that starts drifting away from reality and into luxury wish territory. Even so, the mindset is clear. Bud is basically saying he's not lacing up again unless the money changes his bloodline. Otherwise, he's perfectly fine enjoying what he's already built. And honestly, it's hard to fault him. He's put in the work, he's proven his greatness, and now he's set his value. The real question is whether the sport can meet it.
Now, I'm not mad at it. Crawford's team, they want $100 million. Crawford needs $100 million to perform or to get back in the ring, or he might retire. Then, in my opinion, if that is your real asking price, you might have to retire, because no one needs to see a Canelo rematch. And fights like Lara, Janabek, and...
Right after dropping the $100 million bomb, Crawford went into full storytelling mode, explaining how the whole Canelo matchup idea even came about. And this part is crazy. It wasn't just some random chase for cash. It all started with Bill Haney. Yep, Devin's dad. The one who planted the Canelo seed long before Crawford even stepped in the ring with Spence. Picture it, Crawford's in the gym, and Bill walks up like, "Forget Spence for now. Go after Canelo." Bud's first thought? Whoa, that guy's huge. Then he takes a closer look and realizes, wait a minute, we're the same height. That's when it all clicked.
Oh, bro, for real? I thought this was after. No, this is before. Crawford Spence won. He said, man, don't even chase, stop chasing Errol Spence. He was like, man, the guy to focus and chase is Canelo. Really? He was like, man, you can beat him. He was like, man, Spence, Canelo. And like every time I see him, he'd be like, Canelo.
And that's really what makes Bud stand out. He's not driven by ego. He's driven by conviction. The guy broke down Canelo's style with the precision of a student writing a championship-level thesis. You can see how Bill Haney's advice planted a productive seed in his mind. Then, when Canelo's camp started claiming Crawford doesn't sell, Bud's response was basically, "Fine, just don't mention me. I'm the draw now." That's classic Bud composure. Calm, measured. But you know that quiet demeanor usually signals someone's about to get handled in the ring.
I mean, I'm like, all right, we the same height, around the same size. Like, he a little thicker, okay. I'm starting to look into it now because he already planted the seed, but now I'm like looking into it. Like, let me see what Bill look at now, what he see. So I'm, okay. This is what he talking about. Cause he like, man, he's not a big dude. And he just kept saying he's not a big dude and you can beat him. And then when I looked into it, I'm like, damn, Bill right. Yeah.
And just when you thought the Canelo saga couldn't get any crazier, the behind-the-scenes story takes it up another level. Bud spent 9 hours in negotiations in Saudi Arabia, holed up in a back room like he was trying to crack a secret level in a video game. He was alone, surrounded by people speaking another language, texting, calling, whispering, and all he wanted was a straight conversation with Turkey. But no, he wasn't allowed, because apparently being Turkey's friend might give him an edge. Imagine being too likable to handle your own deal. That's when it hit me. This isn't just a fighter. Bud runs his own show like he's the CEO of Team Crawford Enterprises. No lawyers, no middlemen, just him holding his ground for 9 hours until both sides walk away half satisfied and half defeated.
They brought me in there, then we went to the little back room, and we was there for like 9 hours.
Dang.
Going back and forth.
Dang.
You know, they not budging, I'm not budging. I'm in that mug like this. I'm like,
By yourself.
by myself. And they like, and they calling Turkey. He's not. they talking in their language and texting, and we going back and forth.
And that's the moment you realize just how serious this is. When he said, "It's not exactly the deal they wanted or the deal I wanted, but it's done," you could practically see the chess pieces falling into place. This wasn't just locking in a fight, it was securing a legacy. And let's cut the nonsense about Crawford doing it just for money. Bud's response was simple. Who in their right mind fights for free? And he's absolutely correct. None of us would show up to work for exposure. So why should he? After being underrated, blackballed, and dismissed as not a draw, he's out here negotiating on another continent, chasing greatness like it owes him something. You have to respect that. Bud isn't just stepping into the ring against opponents anymore. He's taking on systems, narratives, and even time itself. And somehow, he keeps winning every single round.
I get the deal done. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can see Turkey when you get the deal done. And I'm like, oh man, listen. Y'all talk about ain't making sense.
Yeah.
You know
Did you have a number though?
Yeah.
Or you kind of had a number like, I want to be in this range,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
I had a number and it was just like, they like, man, listen, we gonna have to talk. so we all in that motherfucker were like, you know what I mean? 9 hours, dog.
9 hours, bro.
I'm telling you. I'm
straight?
Straight.
And here's where it gets really intense. Crawford versus Benavidez isn't just another fight. It's a full-scale statement in boxing's next chapter. You've got legacy clashing with youth, ring IQ battling sheer power, and pride running sky high. Whether they meet at 168 or 175, both are chasing the next big peak. But the key question remains, who wants it more? Is Bud still fueled after taking down Canelo? Or is Benavidez ready to prove he's more than the one who got passed over? Either way, the world is watching. And if Turkey Alashik drops that royal size check, it's officially on. So now it's your turn. Who takes this? The master tactician or the powerhouse? Drop your thoughts in the comments and kick off the debate. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters for more heat coming your way soon. Catch you in the next one.